Hello, welcome back to BLENDERSUSHI live noding. In this video, we're gonna take a look at how to create a countdown. So it's not the emoji thing, but it's the countdown that we're gonna be creating. And the countdown is not looking something like this. It's more like I'll show you. If I plug this guy in, it's looking something like this. And let's try real time. So it's really fast countdown at the moment. So back to the compositing. Apart from countdown, we can actually use the same kind of animations to create this kind of effects. I'll show you real quick. So we have like 5 words, and then I want to kind of loop it. So apple, banana, carrot, and the color is it's being randomized just for an extra effects. But you can also do it like this. So you have this emoji, and if I play back, currently it doesn't have the scaling animations. I'll quickly switch that on. Here's this guy. I think I just need to plug this guy in. Alt A and play back the animations. And you see that's kind of effect. It's really simple. It's just like a kind of like zooming in or scaling out. But the effect is quite nice. And you can usually see that when you're kind of counting down. Okay, let's get started. Let's start from a fresh scene. File, save as. This is a countdown animation. Let's get rid of this cube and get rid of these two. Save. Go to compositing. This is I'm gonna use animation nodes for this. Let's start with a text RX90 to make the text facing the negative Y directions, make it standing. So currently the default text is kind of boring, so we're gonna change it to something else. I have these fonts. I think I like the Titan one. Oh, that's a little bit chubby text. Maybe use Fredoka. Yeah, this is alright. So switch to animation nodes and create a new one, new node 3, and let's get started. With the text, I'll start with a text object output. So if you notice, most of the time I start from the last node actually, and kind of building the nodes that way. Sometimes really, if someone gives you the whole nodes, it looks complicated, but if you start from scratch, it's kind of easier. It makes sense. So get the text and turn on the text. Here we can say anything, but we want it to be the number for countdown. So for number, we can use frame. Most of the animation I show you in this live noding is always like a time frame based. So everything is mostly triggered by time. This is just for simplicity. If you plug in the time into the text, it will be converted into text automatically. And our text looks like this because it's just like it's a floating time, floating frame numbers. There's actually like it's going from time to frame to frames, and we have like a full frame numbers, but there's actually like a floating number every time it jumps from frame to frame. So currently it's like it's going up like that. But that's not what we want. What we want is kind of like counting down. So we need to use math for that, math. And we're gonna just subtract our time. So let's say we want to have like 100 frames countdown. So we can start from 100, and then the frame number will subtract our total number there. So I see it's going down. So that's okay, that's fine and dandy, but you will see that after it goes down and it keeps going down, it becomes minus. That's probably not something you want. You can have a clamp. So by passing the value into the clamp node, we can tell it, okay, if it's lower than 0, just stop. Okay, see, I can actually give it the number like this, between 0 and 10. It's being clamped, so it doesn't animate until it reaches that maximum value, maximum number 50. So the animation is playing, and then only once it hits 50, it goes down until it hits 0, and then it stops. So that's cool. That's kind of effects that we want. Here we don't actually want the 0.0, so we want to use float to integer, and this guy will make it. We'll get rid of the 0.0 there. So now we have our number. Let's make this 100. Actually, maximum doesn't matter. Just give it a high number. Okay, let's save this. The next thing we do, perhaps, yeah, currently it's counting down every frame. Sometimes we want it to kind of we have like a click, like a clock tick, so it doesn't go frame to frame, but we want to kind of control the frame number at this moment. Is if we debug the number, it's really just you know, the frame number. It's always like one frame each time. We can control this actually by using math and the floor division. So if we plug this guy in, and then in the floor division, let's say we give it a 10, what's happening here, for 10 frame, it's gonna hold that number, and then it's gonna go to the next click and then hold it again for 10 frames until another 10 frames. It's gonna go down. So now it's like the number goes down every 10 frames. If I plug this guy in there, so see 100, 99, 98, 97. So it's more like a proper timing for countdown, because 1 second is like 1,000. When you say 1,000, 1,000, 2,000, that's like a second. So now we can say like 100, 99, 98, 97. It's not like a really quick time frame. Okay, let's save this. Actually, to be more like if this is running in real time, this should be like 24, because it's like we are running at 24 frames per second. So 100, 99. So, but you can see this is running at 12 frames per second. So this should be like 12. So 100, 99, 98, 97. Now we can do the countdown that way. So that's we take care of the timing of the number. Okay, the next thing we should do is just the scaling kind of effects. So we need to control the bits of scaling of the text. For that, we're just gonna use object transform output For this example, we don't actually need to use animation loop, so it's just the whole nodes going that way. It's really simple. So this plug into that guy. We have this kind of like the default size of the text if you want. We leave it at whatever we have here. The next thing we do is the scale. Okay, for the scale, we're gonna use something simple, just the animate float. Okay, animate floats. We're gonna animate the number from 0 to 1. So the number will grow from 0 to 1 depending on the time, and the result should go into the scale. So let's have a look real quick. Nothing happened at the moment because we didn't have the time as a factor. Start and frame. Let's see, this is time math clamping. I believe our value is this guy right here. Plug into the time. So let's have a look. Complete. That's actually a wrong one. That's not the one we want. Maybe just the time. Plug in into that guy. So 100, 99, 98. There's something wrong definitely there. So we actually need to use repeat time. And we want the time to loop. So this guy is gonna do the job for us. So let's have a look. 100, 90, and now here the timing is also wrong. I believe the time should actually match this guy right here, 12. So make everything 12. Let's have a look. 100, 99, 98, 97. So now it's starting to look all right. So just because the number is connected, so we need to maybe connect all these together. Just float. Before I do that, before I connect all these numbers together, I want to try something. Maybe perhaps if I make this 24 and then turn this into back, I want to see the effects. Maybe this should be 24. That's kind of nicer. There's kind of a settling. So probably it actually doesn't matter if we just plug all this. We still get the effects of the number settling. 99, 98, 97. So that's nice. That's kind of nice. That's an extra kind of animation effects there. So now we have everything almost ready except for the text. We need to, maybe we want to center it, and for the position here at the moment is, you see the center point. Maybe that's what you want, but maybe you want it to be at the center. So we can really use this guy, center, and then if I'm not wrong, this we can control it using this guy, 0.5. So you can control that. And there is also this guy that you can animate if you want. Leave it at 1. There is also offset. Okay, that's cool. Let's check it out. So 100, 99, 98, 97. So we can continue until it goes to 0. So that's one effects that's pretty much done. We can give this guy a color just for if you want it. Just give it a color. Actually, the color for the color I will use this object color. I always do that because using this object color we can easily change it using animation nodes. So yeah, the cool thing about procedurality is that we can scrub on the timeline and everything will still happen. And if you make changes, like we want it countdown from maybe just 20, we can do that. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. So that's the idea. This is pretty much done, except that I will give like extra kind of bonus if you, because you build, if you make something like this, it's really something you build. Everything is like kind of raw, so you can always make changes and modifications. Maybe you want to use the same idea for other things, you can definitely do that. Let's say maybe you don't want to use a number, you want to use kind of like a text. So for that we can use a text. So let's create a string. Create a string list just for simplicity. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's just make it like a Monday, Tuesday. Kind of Monday, Tuesday. Kind of boring, so I'll just make up a name. What else? Yeah, I just made up this all anime character name. Maybe you recognize it. Anyway, let's use that for our data here. So instead of the numbers, we can use this string. You see, this string is actually list of strings, so it's a lot of text, not just a single text. So if we plug that in, we get this get list element, and we can, having this, we can, just switch it. If it goes over, it will disappear. Perhaps for something like this, we really wanna, you either randomize the number or you use like a kind of repeat the frame number. So let's have a look. This is our frame. This is the floor divisions for the timing of the click. So we have our clicker here. It's actually quite interesting that we can just simply use some math and modulo operations here. Plug in this guy in there, and then for the modulo, it's really, the modulo should be the length of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the length, get this length. This plug into that guy. It's gonna take care of the number of the whatever text we have here, and this plug into this index. So now if we check it out, Astro Boy, Doraemon, Pokemon, Pikachu. So it's gonna go through the for every click, it's gonna change into the next text, and then goes back to the first one, and then continue repeating and looping forever and ever. So I kind of like this kind of setup because you can always put it anywhere in the animation, and it's gonna work right away. So let's stop this. Add file, save as countdown. Okay, so we have this setup already. Now it's quite nice. We can add more here, like I don't know, Super Mario Bros. Let's see what else we can improve. You can randomize the colors, so that's if you feel like doing that, it's something that's quite easy to do. You just use the object attribute output here, plug the objects, and then modify the color. And for the color, you just use a combine color, HSV color, plug into the value, and now we can have we can play around with the hue. For the hue, we just use random number, perhaps minimum and maximum 0 and 1 seed. The seed's gonna be changing per click, so the click is from this guy, display, plug into that guy. So now for every text we have random color. Yeah, that's the effects happening. One more thing, I will give you a bonus. This is how you can use the same setup for the emoji. Oh, by the way, if you want to have like a switcher here between the number and the text, you can use switch. So this is a switch for two different value. So 1 and 2. Plug this guy in there. So now we can have the number, or we can have the text. It's easy to change like that. You can actually have multiples if you really want. Kind of like you can piggyback this guy, something like that. It falls. Happy New Year, something like that. So Happy New Year, Happy New Year. And we change to this guy, and we change to that guy. So switch, this is one interesting thing about switch nodes. You can just piggyback and have as many as we want. Yeah, for the next one, we want to use the emoji. Oh, by the way, with this text right here, if you want to move the text, oh, you can actually move the text because I didn't turn on the location. If you have the location on, if you want to move the text, you just parent the text into a locator or empty, and it should work. Currently, the scaling. So it's I think I will show you that anyway. So create an empty, and then just reset the empty. Select this guy and that guy, and then Control P. Parent the objects, keep transform. Now we can move it, and then we can scale this guy actually, and then the effects will also happen for the child of the locator. So you can make it, you can scale it down, scale it up. This is a better control for the animator. So the next bit is an extra bonus. It's a file. I'll show you real quick. Set, turn on alpha and turn on shadeless. And let's grab the emojis. So we have these emojis, and I downloaded this online. What is the source? I think this guy. If you search Google LeChuck 80, is that on the deviantart.com, you will see this, and you will see the emoji. This is the emoji for iOS 7 of iPhone. In the iOS 10, they have more emoji, and the emojis have more detail. This is the old emoji, but still pretty good. I'll grab some of this. I'm not gonna grab everything, just a bunch of them. Actually, I'll just import a little bit. So that guy. That's okay, just everything. Import images as plain, so we gonna get them like that, so they are all good. Control G, we group them. Let's move them to layer number 3. Okay, our emoji is ready. We're gonna use it here. We're gonna use the same animations, you know, just the scaling. Very basic. What we're gonna use is the emoji, and for the emoji, really what you want to do is you have this like a master. This is the master object that's gonna animating scaling. We're gonna do that first. So I will create another duplicate of this just to make it easier. I'm gonna grab the plane, and for the scaling we're gonna use the same scaling. So you see the animation there? It's just scaling up. And so the next thing we do, we just need to copy the object data, and the object data is from our emojis. Actually, our emojis is we source it by using objects from group. So just source the emojis and plug the objects into this guy, and we get something like this again, get list element. So we can use the clicker from this guy, plug that in. We have the clicker and we have this plug into the plane. Now what's happening is, if everything works correctly, we should get what the result we expected. But in this case, our emoji has a different number, so be careful with that. This is a modulo. This modulo and get list length should be different. So the modulo, this is the time. This modulo you should know the number of the list of objects here. Put that in. So this guy plug into that's the math. This guy goes into the index. So if you have so many nodes like this, it's a good idea to start to tidy things up. This is the object, get this element. So this is definitely something we can group. I use B. A is select all, B is to box select, and then you can control J to frame this. So this is for our emoji, or actually can be for any objects, believe it or not. Currently it's emoji, of course. It's doing that. Maybe the scaling can be, we can use math. Make the scaling, we can multiply the scaling, I guess. Vector math. This can be scaled. And do the rotation. Actually, rotation is in the X. So we have the emoji. The emoji scaling like that, and then just like the number. And we have the effects there. Yeah, it's kind of cute. We can actually duplicate this guy if we want, but not. No, I'm not gonna do that. What you can do next is really, if you have, let's say you have a bunch of objects, okay, like maybe the teapot, our famous teapot, and then our famous monkey, and then our famous cube. 1, 2, 3. If I group it, I'll just name it objects. You'll see here by some kind of magic, you will see if I select the objects, you will see that we have this guy kind of switching. Oh, did I delete the teapot just now? So these 3 objects. The monkey, of course, facing the wrong way, but you'll see this is the monkey, and then the monkey, the teapot, and the box. Monkey, teapot, and box. You see, this become like quite modular. You can switch to the emoji back and turn on texture, and then we can go full screen. Yeah, in full screen everything works in the real speed, real time, full speed. So this is actually really nice. You see, very neat kind of effects. Yeah, I guess that's a lot of informations for you in this live noding. The concept itself is really simple, just a scaling. It's kind of like a clicking. The clicking things is kind of something that's a little bit difficult to understand if you're not a programmer. Like myself is not a programmer, but I'm learning a little bit of technical stuff and by using nodes. And you see this is countdown, still working. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So this is exactly what I want to show you. Yeah, so if you have any feedback, question, you can leave it down below at the comments. Thanks again for tuning into this channel. I'll see you in the next video.